Well, good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday and we are live. I'm excited to be here tonight with you guys. And thank you guys for tuning in. Come on in, you guys. Come on in. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so grateful for you guys being here with me, joining me every Tuesday night. Hey, Thomas. And I appreciate it. I so very much appreciate it. I think I might be getting pretty good at this, but I have a saying: perfect practice makes perfect. So if I keep trying with my glasses on my head, if I keep trying, keep doing it, I think I'll be all right. But I appreciate you guys being here, and I don't take your time for granted. And so I want to say thank you guys for all the feedback. I get so much feedback. Hey, Donna. Hey, Sharon. I see you guys. I've gotten so much feedback, great feedback on the videos, on the information you're receiving, how it's blessing your life, changing your life, making you better. And that's solely my goal, just to be here to encourage you, just to teach you, to help you on this journey called life. And so I appreciate all of you that send messages to me through my husband when you see him in the city. And to people that are not in California, thank you for watching. Las Vegas, all of you, wherever you are, Texas, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. You could be doing a million things tonight, and you're here with me. So I appreciate that, and I thank you for it. So tonight, and I want to tell you, keep sharing the videos, keep sharing the videos, keep sharing the videos. I'm working on something big. I want to do a conference. I want to do a workshop, something at the beginning of the year. I was going to try to squeeze it in for December, but my time is so pressed. I'm in the middle of mentorship, and so I don't want to rush it to find a location and do all of that, but I want to make it nice for you guys. But if I host this, I want you guys to come out. Hi, Shantae, I miss you. I miss you. If I host it, I want you guys to come out. It's going to be something about vision, something about baggage, something about, I don't know, we're going to work it out, but I would love to see you guys. I'm looking to do it in January. So I want you to share these videos, get your friends out. You guys come out. Let's get in the habit of empowering ourselves and building ourselves. We get in the habit of doing so many other things, but I've made empowerment, developing myself, a habit. Is just a habit of mine. And I can tell you what I need to work into that habit is exercising. I need to do that every single day, because right now I do it when I feel like it. And so I'm trying to develop this habit of personal development and empowerment, because I've spent so many years doing the other part, beating myself down, telling myself what I can't do, telling myself I'm not worthy, talking myself out of some things. And so this is a point in my life where I'm building me. I'm building me. I'm not cheating myself anymore. I'm not trying to, be everybody's friend. I'm not trying to, go everywhere. I enjoy being at home. I enjoy living my life on my terms. And so I'm in this place where I'm about building myself and empowering myself and learning everything that I can learn, being the best that I can be for myself, for my husband, my children, all of you that I minister to and that I coach and mentor. And it's a daily process, you guys. It's an ongoing process. And so keep going. I want to tell you, keep going. We talked about that last week. Keep going. You're worth it. I want to tell you that you're worth it. You're so worth it. And so that needs to become a habit, like all of the other things that we've made a habit, and they haven't been good for us. So get in the mindset of creating better habits, good habits, habits that will empower you, that will encourage you, that will keep you motivated, that will pull you out of your comfort zone. Create some habits that won't let you settle for, that will raise your standard, that will raise your value. Create some standards that'll, put you in a place you've never been before, making you think like you've never thought before, to get some things, listen, that you've never had before. It's about building you. And everything else that you do after building yourself will be in excellence. It'll be done well. It'll be done right. Everything. If you work on being your best self, your marriage, your children, your career, your job, in the community, in your church. Give yourself your best first, and then watch what you give to everybody else. I guarantee you that. So it's about empowerment, you guys. It's about building yourself. It's about putting your best foot forward. It's about not settling for what other people have to give you. It's not settling for what other people think of you or say of you, but it's just about being my best self. And, you know, we got to stretch to do that. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about stretching. So I teach a personal development course. It's 8 weeks, and it's just personal development. We talk about, you know, the paradigm. I taught that a few weeks ago with you guys, but I talk about in this class, who are you? What is your purpose? You know, we go to the mirror, the law of the mirror from John Maxwell's 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Looking at yourself in the mirror, tell me what you see. And then we deal with what we see in this 8 weeks. But then we go through the course of the lesson, some of the laws, and it's very eye-opening to where you are personally, because sometimes we think we're in a place, and what happens is information kind of that we've never heard before, or we haven't heard put a certain way, it kind of opens us up to where we really are. So in this 8-week personal development course, we go through 8 of the laws of John Maxwell's book, the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. If you want a book that's going to pull you out of some stuff and establish you in a greater place, read that book. I would guarantee you to read that book. But tonight I want to share with you one of the laws that I share in class, and this is one of my favorite laws. And this is the law of the rubber band. In the law of the rubber band, he talks about stretching. The benefits of stretching, and when you don't stretch, what happens, how you remain average. Hi, Steph, I see you. How we remain average, and we tend to, when we don't stretch, when we don't move beyond what we're comfortable with, because we can find ourselves living in a comfort zone, having everything we need in this zone, and I'm not growing, I'm not advancing, I'm staying in the same place. And so I want to talk to you tonight about stretching from the law of the rubber band. What does it mean to stretch? So he says from the law of the rubber band, growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. So the law of the rubber band says growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. So look at this rubber band. Can you guys, everybody can see this rubber band? So a rubber band was created to do what? The greatest thing that a rubber band can do is what? Stretch. And when a rubber band can't stretch, it's of no use, right? So rubber bands are created in different shapes and different sizes. And so some can stretch. You know, they're thicker, they're stronger, but they still stretch to a capacity. But when the rubber band is not being stretched, listen, the rubber band is of no use. Keep this in mind. So here we are with all of this ability, all of this power, all of this insight, all of this creativity, all of this talent, all of these gifts, all of this wisdom. Hi, Kivas, thank you for joining me. All of this wisdom, all of this direction, all of this ability, all of the capability to stretch, and we don't. So when you have a rubber band that is not being used to its maximum capacity, guess what? It's of no use. If it can't be stretched, it's of no use. And so he says, when a rubber band is stretched, at its maximum, look at this. So when I talk about us stretching, let me move back a little bit. When I talk about us stretching, he says, as long as you're being stretched, you're growing. So remember, I said the subtitle to this is growth stops when you lose the tension between where you are and where you could be. So for some of us, we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't want to be uncomfortable. So we're like this rubber band. We were built in the image, listen to me, in the image and in the likeness of God, the creator. He stepped out and spoke things into existence from nothing. But then he said, we have the power to call those things that are not as though they were. Here you are with the capability of a rubber band, and we don't want the tension part. We don't want to stretch because I don't want the tension that comes with life. So some of us, rather than stretching, listen, we'd rather be the rubber band. We look like a rubber band. Come on here. We are made of the same material of a rubber band, but I don't want tension in my life. And he says, as long as there is tension, there is opportunity for growth. But when there is no tension, you lose. When there is no tension in you, when there is no tension, when you're not stretching, come on here, you lose the possibility of from where you are to where you could be. See, the only way to get there is to stretch. The only way to get there is to stretch. So look at this. These are rubber. This is one rubber band, right? Here's another rubber band, much smaller, whole different color, whole different shape. But here's another rubber band. And this is how we look, you guys. We're all different shapes, sizes, colors, all different shapes, sizes, and colors. But we were all made to have a capacity, listen, to be able to stretch. So you might stretch longer and further than me because you are much more capable. You're longer, you're wider, you're thinner. And so you might be able to stretch much more than me in your life. But it's not my job. Look at this. It's not my job to stretch as much as you do in your life. This is as much as I can give in my life, right? And then another person says, you know what? I'm thicker, I'm wider, and this is all I can give in my life. This is as much as I can stretch in my life. And then somebody else says, I'm much smaller. And I'm not as wise. I don't have as much experience yet, but I'm giving everything that I can. So the goal is not to stretch at the capacity of everybody around you. The goal is to stretch at your own capacity. All different shapes and sizes and colors of rubber bands, all made differently, but all serving the same purpose. All of them are rubber bands. Listen to me. All of them are rubber bands. Different shapes, different sizes, different widths, different lengths, different colors. But all of them were created for the possibility of, come on here, for the purpose of being able to stretch to do what they're supposed to do. So that's all of us. And when we spend time trying to be like each other or trying to be somebody else that we see on TV or trying to be somebody that we admire, listen, it's okay to have mentors, but you don't want to be like them. You want the qualities that they possess, but don't go dye your hair to match theirs. Don't go buy what they drive. Don't go to dress like they dress and appear to be like they appear to be. No, you were created as your own rubber band to stretch in your own capacity. Some of us are in places right now in our lives where we're being stretched. And because your stretch is much deeper than mine, you're complaining about the stretch. And you're saying, why is it that I have to stretch so long? Why is it that I have to stretch so deep? Why is it that I have to stretch so hard? Because we're different. And the goal is not that you are stretching. Come on here. The goal is not that you have to stretch. The goal is that you are stretching, because the more you stretch, the more you grow, right? So I'm going to talk to you tonight about the benefits. I'm going to give you some natural benefits of stretching, but then I'm going to give you the growth benefits of stretching. You can't be comfortable and go through this life and get what everybody else is getting. No, you can't pattern your life after everybody else. I was talking to my son and my daughter. Listen, two people can have a job. And one can be positive and out of this world, and the other one can be so negative. They work the same jobs, but depending on your stretch, you're going to look at that job and you're going to see everything negative. Depending on how you stretch, listen, because some people just need to be comfortable, physically comfortable. And when you are physically, you need to write this down. When you are so comfortable physically, I would probably even say, you know what, spiritually and mentally and emotionally, you're not growing. When you go through life buying everything that you need to make you comfortable, you haven't gotten yourself in a position where spiritually God can get you to a place, because you padded your life so much that he doesn't have room to move. I got enough money in the bank. I don't need the Lord to bless me with money. I got da-da-da-da-da. I don't need the Lord to. And then we get to a place where I don't really need him like that. So you padded your life so much. You got these two people with the same jobs, but one sees all the benefits and all the blessings that God has given them in this job. And the other person sees all the negative of that same job. Why? Because one person said, I'm going to take this job and I'm going to stretch to my capacity. I'm going to get everything I can get out of it. Not just physical stuff, not just getting the check to buy a house and to buy some stuff, but I'm going to I'm going to learn everything I can learn to be the best person that I can be on this job that God blessed me with. And then you got the negative person that says, you know what, this job, and I hate this job, and but you're still going, and you still collecting that check, and that job gave you the livelihood that you have. If you took the job away for the last 15 years, what would you actually have without it? Right? And because you're not willing to stretch, and when I don't stretch, I just sit there. I sit there and I reap the benefits, but your outlook doesn't change. Your heart doesn't change. Your mindset doesn't change. When you don't stretch, you can sit and believe God all day long. But if you don't stretch and exercise your faith, if you don't stretch and step out of your comfort zone, if you don't stretch and come on here and cause yourself to see be the optimistic person rather than the pessimistic person, you're going to miss it every single time. And then people get tired of talking to you because you're so negative. Yeah, we don't like to stretch because stretching is painful. But look at this. I looked up the benefits of stretching naturally. So you can go exercise all day long. But the reason that you stretch before and after, it says stretching decreases stiffness and it increases your range of motion. You want to be able to move much more and be effective in your life? Come on here. Some of us are so caught up and so stiff, and we think one way. We just think this one way. This is what my parents taught me. This is what I believe. This is all I can see. And that's with your money. That's with your health. That's with raising your children. That's in your marriage. Well, in my family, this is what marriages do. You're not even open. You're not even open to try to stretch to create something different in your marriage. I remember telling one of my sons and his wife, listen, you can't bring your parents to the marriage. And you can't bring your parents to the marriage. Pick one or two things from your parents' marriages that you agree on, or don't pick anything. But if you two are married to each other, you're not married to your parents. You can't bring your parents to your house. You guys got to build your own thing. You got to build your own thing. But you got to come out of your comfort zone and try to make this thing work the way it works for you. Because what works for me and my husband, his parents probably wouldn't even have done that. And what they did, we probably won't even want to do it. So stretching says, I'm willing to walk this walk with you, but I got to come out of the way that I was taught to do marriage, which might not fit the way that I'm supposed to be married today. You understand what I'm saying? Raising our children. Well, my mother did it with me, so I'm going to do it with my children. Different day, different time. That was 40 years ago. And it's a different day and it's a different time. And I'm not saying don't discipline. I'm not saying buy them everything. I'm not saying spoil them. But I'm saying, come on, be open. Be open to some things, stretch. And so when I'm not willing to stretch, it says when you don't stretch, stiffness comes in. And you lose that range of motion. You lose that liberty. So if stretching in the natural decreases stiffness, come on here, and it increases your range of motion, how much more would it do for you spiritually? How much more would it do for you mentally, emotionally? If you stretch just a little bit to come out of your comfort zone, how much would it open you up? And some of us are so stiff, and some of us are so tight, and some of us are so much in denial. Some of us are so not willing to change. Well, this is how my family did it. And it might not be good. And that's why you keep getting the results that you keep getting. You're not open to change. You're not open to stretching. You're not open to being uncomfortable. And some things that we've gotten from our families, can I be honest with you? They're generational curses. It's not even to advance us. It's not even to make us better. It's just what we've done. We repeat what we've seen over the years. We just repeat the same things we've seen over the years, and we don't even know why we're doing it. We just do it because we've seen it before. We've seen it all of our lives, and somebody told us because it's been going on through the family all your life, it has to be right. You ever heard the story of the young lady in the pot roast? So it's she and her daughter. She's making a pot roast, and she said, and the mother's preparing the pot roast, seasons the pot roast, and she cuts the ends off the pot roast, and she puts the pot roast in the pan. And her daughter says, "Mom, why do you cut the ends off the pot roast?" "Well, I cut the ends off because my mother cut the ends off, but she said it helps the juices to flow in and out and to marinate it better, and it cooks quicker on the inside, and da-da-da-da, and that's why I cut the ends off the pot roast." But then the mother was curious as to why do we really cut the ends off the pot roast? And so she goes and she asks her mother, she said, "I just cut the ends off because my mother cut the ends off the pot roast. And she just did it all my life. I saw her cut the ends off, and I cut the ends off too." And then the daughter repeats it, and that's what she tells her daughter. But then her mother goes and asks her grandmother, "Mama, why do you cut the ends off the pot roast?" And she said, "I cut the ends off." She said, "Does it marinate it and make the juices flow and cause it not to?" And she said, "No, I cut the ends off the pot roast because I never had a pan big enough to put the whole roast in it. So I would just cut the ends off because I only had a small pan." But let me show you the deception and not asking why, not stretching beyond where you've been, not stretching beyond where you are. Nobody asked. We just repeat what we see, and we don't ask, and we have no desire to stretch beyond that comfort zone. So we just repeat it. So go back to the daughter, the first mother and her daughter. Maybe grandmama didn't have the money to buy a bigger pan, so she cut the ends off the pot roast. And maybe her mother probably had a little more money, had the possibility of buying a bigger pan. But the daughter surely had money to buy a bigger pan, didn't know she needed to buy a bigger pan, just bought the same pan. So finances wasn't the issue. It wasn't about the money. It was about the information. It was about the ability to stretch beyond what we've seen. Let me tell you why communities don't change. Because we repeat the same things. We just do what we've always seen. And as a result, we don't advance forward. Nobody grows. We just keep doing what we want to do. He says stretching decreases stiffness and it increases your range of motion. Let me ask you something. You got to ask yourself, if I'm going to stretch, how far am I willing to go? How far am I willing to go? How much do I need to stretch to get to what my dreams are? How much do I need to stretch to get to this business that I'm trying to create? How much do I need to stretch to be the mother that I need to be? How much do I need to stretch to step away from all the stuff that isn't productive for me? How much do I need to stretch to come out of the comfort zone that's got me locked into bills and debt? How much do I need to stretch to discipline myself with my money? How much do I need to stretch? He says stretching increases your range of motion. So some of us are just moving side to side. Some of us are just going side to side. We're just moving side to side. And somebody told us, at least you're moving. Somebody said, at least you're moving. Listen, activity is not necessarily accomplishment. Oh, come on here, somebody. He said range of motion. Range of motion, which means you can turn around. Not only can you just go side to side, but you can turn around. You can go up. You can go down. You can go left. You can go right. It increases your range of motion. And some of us are limited to just one way. And as a result, you are robbing yourself of all of your possibilities. Look at what it says also. It says stretching reduces your risk of injury. Oh, that's a good one. And these are the natural benefits of stretching. It reduces your risk of injury. Some of us have made ourselves so comfortable in our comfort zones. We've been hurt by people, and we built walls to keep people out. We built gates to keep people out. Some of us have gone and emotionally bought guard dogs and put a ring system. I need to know who's coming into my life. We bought ring systems and cameras, and I'm trying my best to keep people out of my life because I've been wounded so much by people. Listen, people are going to disappoint you. Get that out of your mind that people won't. Get that out of your mind that people won't disappoint you. But what will you do after you've been disappointed? That's the thing. See, after you've been disappointed, you need to stretch. Because when you've been disappointed by people, come on here, that you've confided in and that you've trusted and that you have loved, I didn't say that you've been perfect with, but that you've confided in, that you've trusted, and that you have loved and they've loved you. And when you've been disappointed by those people, everything in you wants to tell you, just shut it down. Quit. Don't trust nobody else. Don't get any more friends. Just stay in your house, stay to yourself. Don't call anybody. You don't want to pray with anybody. When you've been wounded by people at your job, at your church, in your family, in the community, wherever you frequent, your friends, you want to shut it down. That ain't never happening to me again. Well, you're going to die then. Because if you keep living, it's going to happen again. Come on here. And as long as you're living, it's going to happen again. Because that's what people do. But their actions are not my responsibility. My actions are my responsibility. So you've been hurt, and we're talking about reducing the risk of injury. In order to reduce the risk of injury, you got to stretch. Come on here. Stretch beyond your hurt. Stretch beyond your disappointment. And they're going to hurt you again. Don't lose the tension. Come on here, because I don't want to get stuck in an emotional cesspool, and I become the victim to the words of people. I become the victim to the actions of people. He says you got to stretch, because when you lose the tension, you don't get to where you could be. So when people hurt you and people frustrate you and people disappoint you, come on here, you got to stretch beyond that. You got to be bigger than that. And you got to tell yourself, you know what? That's what people do. I've probably done it to some people, and you got to stretch. You got to stretch beyond the hurt. You got to stretch beyond the disappointment. You got to stretch beyond the pain. You got to stretch beyond the, oh God, I can't believe they did that. You got to stretch beyond all of that. You got to stretch beyond all of that. If you're going to grow, you got to stretch beyond the hurt, because hurt will sit on you. Hurt will come in, and hurt will make you the victim of life. Hurt will be so bad that hurt will crown you. Hurt will make you the queen and the king of it. You have been crowned the king and queen of hurt. Here's your trophy, and here's your crown. You are now the princess of the country of hurt. And then you walk around with your crown of hurt and your crown, your trophy of hurt, and that's what you rehearse, how people have hurt you, how people have disappointed you, and you stop growing, you stop loving, you stop giving, you stop trusting, and you start going into your shell, and you stop stretching, you start losing the tension. And remember what I said in the beginning, a rubber band with no tension is not effective, it's ineffective. And you were created like the rubber band. He said, I made you in my image and in my likeness. You have the characteristics of God. How dare you quit because people who are as imperfect as you are hurt your feelings. And so I sit disappointed. I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they did that. And as a result, we get in that routine, that cycle of disappointment. Well, girl, I wouldn't. You don't need to tell anybody about them. You don't need to tell anybody about the people that hurt you. You need to stretch and walk out of it. See, stretching walks you out of some things. Stretching walks you out. It walks you out of mess, and it walks you into promise. Keep stretching. Oh, I learned that. I've learned that. It walks you out of garbage, come on here, and walks you into promise. Keep stretching. Keep being uncomfortable. Keep apologizing. Even if you did nothing wrong, listen to me. Jesus took nails and he did nothing wrong. And we don't have nail prints. I didn't say you had to invite him over for breakfast. I didn't say you had to call him on the phone every day. I didn't say you had to send I love you text messages. Come on here. But what I won't do, I don't have to commune. I don't have to hang out. I don't have to fellowship like that. Listen, but what I won't do is walk around being angry about it, being hurt about it, being disappointed about it. Because stretching, I need tension in my life for growth because I got to get somewhere. I'm going somewhere with or without some people. You understand me? And you got to keep stretching to get there. Never allow another person to prevent you from stretching. Stretching reduces your risk of injury. So people have hurt you. You need to stretch. Some people have disappointed you right in your family. You can't believe your own mother would do that. You can't believe your own sister would do that. You can't believe you loaned them the money and they won't pay you back. You better stretch. You better stretch. You better stretch. I don't give money that I don't and expect it back. If I'm giving it to you, keep it. If I'm giving it to you, I'm not expecting it back. God bless me to give it to you. Keep it. Keep it. Keep it. You better learn to stretch beyond all that garbage. You get one life to live and you're going to live it wasting time being hurt by the words of people. You better stretch. And then he says stretching helps manage the stress in your life. How many of you are stressed? Sitting at home in your worry, sitting at home in your disappointment, sitting at home in your failure, sitting at home in the mess. Sitting at home as the victim, sitting at home because you didn't pass the bar, sitting at home because you didn't get into the program you want to get into, sitting in your mess because you didn't pass the test, sitting in your mess, just sitting in it. Just sitting in it. He says stretching helps you to manage your stress. Oh, come on here, somebody. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? See, we get up every morning and we complain about life and we fail to realize some people didn't wake up. Here you are, got to open your eyes. Come on here and see the blessings of God. When I walk out of my house, I see the mountains in the morning and I'm excited about that. God allowed me to see it because somebody didn't get to wake up. And here it is, I get to wake up and I'm going to complain about my day. I'm not going to be stressed. I'm just not going to be stressed. I'm just not going to be stressed by nothing, not by anything. And you guys know with my daughter, my husband, whatever is going on, we got a whole church that we run. Not even that. Not even that. Not even that. Church is what we do. My relationship with God is what I have. Come on here. Church is not my life. And so what people do at church is what they do at church. When I leave there, I leave it there because my prayer time is with God by myself. And so I don't get caught up in the antics of church and church people. Oh, you could be bald. You're a first lady. You need to. No, I don't. I'm Natalie. First ladies go home and wonder about and worry about and da-da-da-da. I'm not a first lady. I'm Natalie. And you understand me, and I'm going to keep stretching as Natalie, and as long as Natalie stays before God, first lady, I ain't going to be the first lady. You understand what I'm saying? You better learn to stretch. It manages stress. Some of us are worried about bills and money. Just make your life happen. Look at your spending, look at your outgo, and look at your income. And your income, your outgo shouldn't be more than your income. Cut the cable off. Cut off Netflix. Don't pay it. You don't need Netflix. You don't need cable TV. You don't need it. You don't need that. You don't need it. Come on here. If your outgo is more than your income, yeah, you should be stressed. You need discipline. He says stretching, come on here, manages the stress in your life. Some of us need to stretch to discipline ourselves financially. What's worrying you? What's worrying you? I learned that years ago with my daughter. Whatever God's will is for my daughter. But I can't be up late at night worrying. She's not up at night worrying. Why am I up at night worrying and crying? She said, Mom, even if I go live with Jesus, I'm still healed. She was 4. She was 4. And I said, why am I tripping? She got it. She was 4. They said she got 13 months to live if she doesn't get a bone marrow transplant. And I said, what? Like in 13 months, she might die? I couldn't get it. And she came to me about 2 nights later. I'm sitting on the side of the bed crying. And she said, Mom, you got to stop crying. She was 4. She said, you got to stop crying because I'm going to always be sick. She said, and if I go live with Jesus, I'm healed. Here I am, the preacher, the reverend, the first lady, the evangelist. How come I didn't know that? So it was a kind of a thought in my mind, but it wasn't in my heart. And I chose, come on here, not to stretch beyond what the doctor said. Come on here and lose the tension in my stretch, and I became victim to the circumstance. Come on here, when you lose the tension and you stop stretching, you become victim to the circumstance. And after that, my daughter, she's 15, living her life. And whatever the doctor say, right now, we're going through a process right now. Something going on with her liver. We're going through a process right now. But understand me, you know how I learned to stretch? By watching her. I said, Reagan, what do you think the doctor said? What do you think about what the doctor said? Nothing. She said, doctor's always saying something. And what I heard with Mom, you better stretch, Mom. We doing this. I've been doing this for 15 years. We got it. God got us. He says stretching helps to manage stress. If you're feeling like you're stressed out, you better stretch out of it. See, I told you, you can stretch out of some stuff and stretch into where you need to be. Just don't lose the tension. Don't lose the tension. Stay in the pocket. Stay where you're expanding. Stay where you're growing. Stay among some people that can help you. Stay among some people that keep you encouraged. If your business is lagging and you're getting discouraged, stay where some people can help you. I call people that can help me. I talk to people that can help me. I talk to people that can encourage me. And I should give you their names, but they might be mad at me. But I saw you on here, Dr. Walker. But I go to some people that can help me. They tell me, you know what? You got to get up. You better than that, girl. You tripping. I see you on there, Denise. Drink. I see you. I go to some people that's not going to let me settle. Listen to me. And then he said, stretching improves. Oh, this was good. It said, this is just from the internet. What are the benefits of stretching? It says stretching improves your posture. How you standing? Are you sitting up straight? How you standing? How are you sitting? You sit slumped over. How you sitting? You sit with your shoulders just hunched up. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Life just tired. I'm depressed. What does your posture look like? Is your head hanging low? Your countenance is bad. How do you look? It says stretching improves your posture. Come on, get your head up. Get your head up. Look at the good things in your life, the positive things in your life. Come on here. I just got a message from somebody last night. I went to the doctor diagnosed with cancer. Come on here. What are you depressed about? Why you got your shoulders slumped and your head hanging down, feeling defeated? Nobody is an overnight success. When you see people that have made it, it's not because they did it overnight. Overnight was 25 years. John Maxwell says it's going to be one person in the room. You keep going. One person is going to hear you. But why you slumped over and why you disappointed? Because people don't believe in you. You don't need other people to believe in you. You better believe in yourself. It says stretching improves posture. What does your posture look like? How do you walk into a room? Come on here. You are an atmosphere changer. Understand what I'm saying. You have the capability to walk into a room and change the atmosphere just because of who you are. just because of who God made you. I didn't say because of who your parents are, your lineage. No, 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 no. You just because of who God made you in his image and in his likeness. And when you walk into a room, people go, wow, who is that? So you walk into a room with your head held high. You walk into a room with all your God-given power. You walk into a room to possess whatever is yours. And according to the standards of the world, you don't fit the criteria. That's even better for me to be in the room. You understand what I'm saying? I'm here and I ain't like nobody in the room, and that's a good thing for me. I'm the one that's different. That's how I look at it. I never go in and go, oh, I don't have this and I don't have this and I don't have this. Oh, I'm the one different. I'm the only one that don't have. Oh, it's about to be good. It's about to be good. He put me in the room, so I'm about to take over. What is your posture? What's your posture? If your posture isn't good, you need to stretch. Oh, come on here, somebody. If your posture isn't good, you better start stretching. You better stretch out of it. You better stretch. If you hanging your head down, you need to start stretching until stretch until your head comes up. Stretch until you can get your head up. Stretch until you can get your head up. Keep telling yourself, I got this and I'm going to make it. I can do it. I don't care who hasn't done it. I got it and I'm going to do it. Keep stretching until your head comes up. Keep stretching until your shoulders go back. Keep stretching until your posture is in order. Keep stretching until you feel that thing down in you. Keep stretching. Keep stretching and keep giving it everything that you have. Keep going. And understand this, and when people get in your way, they don't know themselves because they're not stretching. I'm not here to compete with you. I'm not here to deny you. I'm not here to knock you down. I'm just here to stretch and get everything that God has for me. But don't get distorted by people and stuff. You got to keep stretching, man. You got to keep stretching. Everything that you need is in the stretch. Come on here, somebody. Everything that you need is in the stretch. It's not in your comfort zone. And you got to do something different to get something that you have never had. You got to do something different to get something that you have never had. God made you to be great. God made you to be amazing. God made you to be talented. God made you with all of these gifts. And you sit back talking about you wish you could be a Kardashian or Beyonce or somebody. They should be wishing they could meet you. But here you are wanting to be like, and you're saying, God, I want to be like them because you didn't make me right. That's what you said. God, I want to be rich like them because you didn't make me right. They started just like you. Oh, come on here, somebody. Let me help you real quick. They get the same hours of day that you get. They get the same days of week that you get. They get up and bathe and brush their teeth and get dressed every day just like you do. The difference is I'm going to stretch till I get to where I need to be. And many of us, we give up and we lose tension and we walking around life like this. That's why. And what we would rather do is go buy Beyonce's tickets and watch her stretch. And we sitting in the audience clapping and applauding them. And we walking around in our own lives like this. You can't even afford to buy a Beyonce ticket because you won't stretch to discipline yourself in your finances. You shouldn't even be buying a ticket. Oh, come on here, somebody. This is real. I know this is a lot, but this is the truth. You need to stretch in your own life. I'm not going to celebrate anybody until I celebrate myself. And we out having a good time and da-da-da-da and struggling to pay rent sometimes. The benefits of stretching. Sometimes you got to be uncomfortable. Everybody that we celebrate, everybody that is a celebrity, everybody, they started just like you. Listen to Steve Harvey sometimes. Started just like you, homeless, sleeping in his car, but he kept stretching. And he got 25 jobs. And some of us are doubting the one gift that we do have and won't even use it because I'm waiting on the Lord to send me a blessing. And if you got the money that you needed to live your life, you would lose it because you have no discipline to keep what you have now. Oh, come on, somebody. You got to stretch. And stretching sometimes is telling myself the truth. You're not ready. Stretching sometimes is telling myself you need to get up and do something. Stretching sometimes is telling myself you need to come out of that funk. Stretching sometimes is telling myself, you know what, you got to get rid of them in your life. Stretching sometimes is telling yourself you just need quiet time with God. Shut everybody down. Stretching sometimes is saying, turn off the TV. Stretching sometimes is saying, you know what, don't eat that because it ain't good for you. Stretching sometimes says, you know what, get up and write the plan that I told you to write. Stretching sometimes is saying, shut your mouth. Stop complaining about it. Stretching sometimes is just telling yourself the truth. You're not even really trying. If you actually got up and tried, Natalie, you could do some stuff. You're not even trying. Stretching sometimes is being honest with yourself until it hurts. Oh, come on here, you guys. Stretching is good, but it doesn't feel good. Go work out. You know, you do all those squats. I went to the pool the other morning, did all these leg exercises and all these squats in the pool. It was amazing. And then the next morning I woke up and I was walking like a robot. You know when you've done squats and your legs are hurting and you go to sit down and use the bathroom? Whoo, Jesus. Stretching, and it's because why? You didn't stretch. You're going through the pain because you didn't stretch. You didn't see it necessary, Natalie, after you got out of the pool working out for an hour to stretch. And as a result, you're going through some pain. You did it your way. You did it your way. You did it your way. You didn't stretch before and after because you thought you didn't need to. And some of us are saying, I don't need to stretch. The Lord gonna make a way somehow. May not come when I want him, but he right on time. Tell me what that means. Nothing. Nothing. Because if you get to the process, if you get to the goal without going through the process, you're going to lose the goal. Can I help you out right there? If you get to the goal without stretching, you're going to lose the goal. Because stretching does what? It teaches you. As you start to stretch, you learn some things. Be open to the lessons. See, we get focused on getting to the blessing. Understand me, and we miss the lessons in the process. I'm just trying to get to the blessing. I just need to be blessed. I just need the Lord to send a blessing. He says, you're not ready for it. You don't even have room for it. Clean up your space. Clean up your mind. Clean up your heart. Clean up your soul. You don't even have room for it if I sent it to you. And if I gave it to you without a stretch, you'd lose it. Oh, Natalie, no, you won't. No, you won't. Go back to your first job. If you had saved half of every check from your very first job, how much money would you have? How much money have you blown? Let's look at not bills money and house. How much money have you blown over the years? And you know you've blown your money. I'd say this. You could be like, go look in your closet. It'll tell you. Go look in your closet. Go count your shoes. It'll tell you how much. And just put a price tag of $50 on every pair of shoes. And a lot of the shoes cost much more than that. But put a price tag on each one of the pairs of shoes and then total it. Multiply it by that and see how much money you wasted on just shoes. We're not going to talk about everything else. He says, if I send you another blessing and you haven't stretched, you're going to put it in the closet with everything else. You're not ready for it. He says, I want you to stretch because I'm trying to teach you some things. I want you to stretch because I want you to get used to hearing the truth. I want you to stretch because I want you to start being honest with yourself. I want you to stretch because I want you to get out of the habit of dressing up the outside and the inside is falling apart. I want you to stretch because there are some lessons that I need you to learn so that you don't ever go back to having no tension in your life. See, when you live your life like this, you go through life ineffective. You're going through the motions. You just got motion. You have motion, but you have no production. You have motion, but you have no production. And stretching gives you range. You can go all over the place when you And it's not by the standards of the world. You don't need the qualifications of the standards of the world when he says, I created you to be able to withstand tension. Because when you go through the fire, come on here, it builds you, it grows you, it matures you, it gives you wisdom. You get experience, come on here, that you have never had before. You got to stretch. Listen to me, you got to stretch. I'm not the victim of situations that happen in my life. Life happens to everybody. And when my daughter was born, I thought it was so bad. But Natalie, you have 5 healthy children already. But then I got to that NICU at Children's Hospital, and it was 100 babies in there like my daughter. I wasn't the only mother that had a sick child. Come on here, baby born with what birth defects. I wasn't the only one. It was hundreds of mothers there. Hundreds of parents. When my daughter got leukemia, hundreds of parents there. When she had to go through a bone marrow transplant and lost all of her hair. Woe is me, oh, my daughter. And God said, but if not your daughter, you want it to be somebody else's daughter? Why not you? He said, maybe I'm allowing it to happen to you to show forth my glory in your life. Maybe I gave you this daughter so that people will know how to walk through trials in their lives. I'm going to use you as the example. I'm going to put you in a position where you got to stretch beyond what you couldn't even imagine. He said, I want to use you to my glory. Yeah, I gave you that daughter. People have seen you as a mother with healthy children, but I'm going to give you this child, and you don't know at any moment it could change. I'm going to give you this daughter, and I want you to stretch in this process to show forth my glory and my power. I'm going to give her to you, and I want to see how you're going to play it out in your life. Are you going to just give up? You going to just quit? You going to just give up? Or are you going to stretch through the process? It's millions of people with sick children, Natalie. Why are you a victim to it? He says, and what I want you to do in the process is, I'm going to teach you how to walk through it, but I want you to encourage them as you walk through it. As I walk through it, God, he said, yeah, as you walk through it. As you sit in the emergency room with your daughter 4 or 5 times a month, I want you to encourage the lady sitting next to you that's there just with her by herself. As you sit on the bone marrow unit floor and your daughter's going through transplant and got cancer, I want you to stretch and encourage. You want me to encourage other people while I'm going through and I don't even know what to pray myself? You want me to help them while I'm going? Yeah, because while you're stretching, you can't think about you. While you're going through, you can't think about you. And what I want to do is think about me and how bad it is. He says, I want you to stretch. And I want you to help people. I want you to help them as you go through your, really. I want you to keep going. And as you sit at the hospital, you're here for 4 months. When people call and they need counseling, tell them to come on down. And I want you to counsel them. If they're willing to drive out here to the hospital, I want you to counsel them like you would counsel them at church while you sit here with your daughter every day for 4 months. Really, God, you want me to? Yeah, I want you to stretch. I want you to stretch. I want you to stretch. And it was a stretch because everything in me wanted to say, God, why me? This is too hard. Really, God? Oh my God, God, when? He says, I knew you would be right here long before. I want you to understand the power that you possess. I want you to understand what I've given you. I want you to understand you're more than what you give yourself credit for. I want you to understand you're not the victim. Listen to me. You're not the victim to your life. You're not the victim to the circumstances. All you got to do is get up tomorrow and stretch out of it. Natalie, how do I stretch out of it? How do I get out of it? How do I stretch out of it? Just get up and say, you know what? Today I'm coming out. I'm stretching out of it. Today I'm going to think positive. Today I'm going to think, write down 3 things that you can tell yourself opposite of what you've been saying to you. So if you've been saying you can't, start just saying, this is how simple it is, you guys. We don't need a big revelation. This is how simple it is. If you've been saying you can't do it, just do the opposite. Yes, I can. I can do it. If you get up and saying, you know what, I'm not qualified, I'm going to get qualified. I'm going to get qualified. I'm not qualified to do that. Well, get qualified to do it. And that big one, I don't feel like it. If you don't feel like it, tell yourself, you know what, today I feel like it. I'm going to make it happen. If you've been telling yourself, I don't have a dime to save, you can save $2 a week. You got $2. If you buy any Starbucks, you got Netflix, you got Hulu, you got Stars, any of that, you can cut all of that out, and that's more than $2. If you saying I can't save a dime, yes, you can. Because entertainment is not over. Come on here. Over saving your money. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you getting up and you telling yourself, I just don't love me, tomorrow, just start saying you do. And I tell people all the time, put it on your walls so you can read it when you walk through your house. I love me because God loves me. I love me because God loves me. I love me because God loves me. And he taught me how to love myself. Put it where you can see it. And guess what you're doing now? You're stretching. And say it to yourself. Say the opposite of the negative every day until you start believing it. Perfect practice makes perfect. You hear me? You got to stretch. If you want something different, don't come on here every Tuesday night listening to me and you're not doing it. And if you need some help, come on, call me, email me. I'm going to coach you through this thing. But this needs to be a lifestyle, you guys. This has to be your life. This has to be your mindset. Life has too much to offer us, and we're sitting at the wayside just tripping, being a victim to situations and circumstances. You got to stretch. You got to stretch. You got to stretch. Listen to me. You have to stretch. You have to stretch to be better. You have to stretch to grow. You have to stretch to reach your goals. You have to stretch to start that business. You have to stretch to get where God would have you to be. You have to stretch. Come on here. You have to stretch. You got to come out of your comfort zone to get where you need to be. You have to stretch. You have to stretch to save your money. You have to stretch to buy that house. You have to stretch to get that promotion. You have to stretch to go back to school. You have to stretch. You got 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 to stretch. And it's uncomfortable. Oh, but it's worth it. And I wouldn't trade anything for it. I wouldn't trade anything for it. You got to stretch. Don't lose the tension. Don't lose the tension. Keep stretching. You hear me? Keep stretching. Keep stretching. You got this. And when you don't think you have it, call somebody. Email me. But keep stretching. You got to keep stretching. Life isn't easy. Come on here. Life isn't easy for anybody. The Bible says, let the wheat and the tare grow together. That's the productive grain and whatever fall, the extra stuff. He says, and I'm going to separate it. The good and the bad happens to all of us. Some people just stretch in it and some people just lay down. Some people stretch through it and that's why they look like they ain't going through nothing. And some people just lay down. You got to stretch. I love you guys, and I'm going to wrap up right there. Thank you for watching tonight. Share this video. If you need to holler at me, email me, nko@emps@gmail.com. nkoemps@gmail.com. I appreciate you guys watching tonight. More than that, go do it. Go stretch. And send me some emails on what's happening in your life. Send it to me. I got an event coming January. I want you guys to be there, and I'm expecting you to be there. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next Tuesday, and I'm going to continue this because it's a little bit more that I want to talk about with stretching. God bless you guys. I love you guys, and I appreciate you. Share the video, okay? Good night. Peace. Bye. You're so nosy.